Hello everyone, Insensei here, and I've got a little bit of a special episode for you all today. I know from my analytics and my research that there have been a lot of people learning to play Go who have started out playing chess. I am one of them. I know many people who've commented on my videos saying, hey, I've been playing chess for a long time, I want to learn Go, it looks great. But there's been a lot of chess players that seem very sort of intimidated by it. Go is a very fascinating game, but at the surface level, it appears very, very different to chess. And unless you're very familiar with Go, it's kind of difficult to see those similarities, and a lot of people could get discouraged very early on in their Go journey without really getting into those really exciting bits of similarities between Go and chess. So, in the spirit of trying to unify the two clubs of Go and chess, even though we love to make memes about trying to teach chess players to play Go, at its core, it would just be wonderful to get both communities together, get them chatting about how the similarities are between games, and I really hope that this video can be the start of that. Now, I just want to note that if you don't understand any of the rules of Go, if you're completely new to this game, I have a video series that goes through all of the basics. I'll put that in the link in the description below. But suffice to say, Go is a game where, let's use a smaller board for ease of understanding, black and white take turns placing stones on the intersection of a board, trying to turn their stones into groups. It's a little bit like StarCraft in the sense that your stones create groups. This is a group of blacks. This is a group of whites. And at the end of the game, there's going to be a divide between white's territory, which are spaces that white has surrounded with their stones, and black's territory, spaces black has surrounded with their stones. The person who has the most territory at the end wins, and if a stone gets completely surrounded, like this, and white plays here, that completely surrounded group is completely removed from the board. So the goal is to surround as much of the board as efficiently as you can while creating groups that are essentially immune to being captured, which means they're surrounding multiple separate spaces and having more of those spaces than your opponent. It's very, very difficult to explain Go very quickly, so I highly recommend you take a second, take a break from this, try to learn the rules of Go. I have an intro video in the description, and then we can proceed from here. So what I'm going to take you all through today are 3 similarities between chess strategy and Go strategy that I've sort of discovered, I guess, or picked up on in my own career. The chess situations I will explain. I'm going to try to explain in a very high level, basic sort of root rule or root strategy sort of way. I don't want to get into advanced tactics because I don't know chess that well, and I don't want to start giving people wrong information. So I'm going to stick to the very basics, but I would love for this video to be used as a starting point to sort of jumpstart those similarity searches and jumpstart the inspiration if you're a chess player and you want to learn really what Go is all about and how you can apply your skills to the Go board. Because you really can. There's been a lot of similarities between playing chess and playing Go. And now when I go back and play chess, I feel like I understand what's going on a lot more because I've played Go. So I think they really do help each other. And I hope that's what you will learn in this video. So seeing as this is dedicated to chess players trying to learn Go, I'm going to start with the chessboard. I'm going to pitch a scenario to you all. Okay, so let's say white moves here, black moves here. Then let's say white moves here, then black moves here. Now let's say that white moves here, black goes here to defend. Let's say white goes over here, and then black plays this one. Let's go here, and then black is forced over. And just for good measure, let's end off with white like this. Now, if you're playing white, I would imagine you feel very good about your position. Your pieces are being developed they're controlling a large amount of the center board. Black only has 2 pieces developed, the knight and the pawn. In chess, it's very important to try to quickly develop all of your pieces. Generally, moving the same piece 2 moves in a row is less efficient than moving 2 pieces once in 2 turns. This is one of the first key principles that I learned when I was just learning to play chess that I would drill into everyone. Develop your board, have a diverse opening. A lot of beginner Go players are doing equivalent of what white is doing right now. Letting black develop the board and wasting moves moving the same piece back and forth. And so you might not really realize how that connects, but let me show you by going to the Go board. I'm starting on a 9x9 board for simplicity's sake, but I'm going to show you all how this example bleeds into regular 19x19 games. Let's say that black plays here and white plays here. And black plays here and white plays here. Black plays here. White plays here. Black plays here and white plays here. Black plays here, white plays here. Black plays here. White plays here. Plays here and white plays here. Black plays here, white plays here to Atari. Black defense. And the game proceeds like this. Now, if you're familiar with the rules of Go, you know that in general, black has captured or surrounded these points, and white has surrounded, or roughly surrounded, these points. If you continue to play out this game, we now can estimate the score, and white is ahead by 13.5 points. So white absolutely demolished black in this very small game. And the reason was because black played in the same place or in the same area of the board every single time. Let's go through it again. Black played only 1 space over. White jumped 2 spaces. Played 1 space, around 2 to 3 more spaces. Jumped 2 spaces this time, but white covered more area here and down. And so we can see that by black investing stones in a very concentrated single group style across a small portion of the board, it ended up losing to white's more flexible, diverse opening style where stones were placed further away from each other in the opening. This is a direct parallel to the chess example that I showed you, where black was moving the same piece over and over again, giving white a chance to develop and dynamically develop their board. If you're trying to play on a big board, generally, the idea is to take all the corners, spread out, try to get a large area across the board, try to develop and establish groups in a way that is sensitive to the global board position. And you don't need to know exactly why or how to do that yet, but just understanding that if you do something like this, it's much better than playing here. Right? Black's strategy is completely losing here because black is spending way too much energy in a smaller part of the board. All right, so we learned a first similarity in chess. The similarity of the importance of developing your opening position. So now let's move on to another similarity. Now I'm just going to try to play a regular game of chess here. Again, like I said, chess is not my strongest game, so I'm going to try to keep things basic and not make any huge mistakes. We'll go here, I guess. King will castle. Black will here. And maybe black goes here. Again, please forgive me if you are very good at chess. I'm not privy to standard openings. But generally in a game of chess, it's important to try to develop your pieces efficiently and maintain the tension. I know that principle from like an old Josh Whiteskin chess tutorial DVD I had when I was like 8. Just the concept of maintaining the tension, keeping the board full of possibilities and not forcing a capture or forcing a line that diminishes those possibilities if you're not in a strong enough position to do so. We can see that, if white tries to force a capture here and then black takes, maybe that wasn't the best thing for white to do. Maybe white wanted that bishop later. It's generally better to try to maintaining the attention on your position unless you're absolutely sure that the line you're taking results in a very clear advantage. And we see this manifesting in Go all the time. So in Go, as we said, we generally want to try to diversify where our stones are going. Create an equal distant divide of the board, but then maybe people will fight. But if you're not fighting in an advantageous way, it's very easy for your opponent to take advantage. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. Let's say that black played here and white was very jealous that black might maybe get this side of the board. And so white just jumps in here and forces a fight. Okay? Well, what's black going to do? Black is going to try to surround. Like this. Black is going to continue to surround, and don't worry about the exact fighting moves that I'm using here. Just try to understand the spirit of what I'm doing. Here, here, here. And now, what we see, white can make two eyes, because if you know the rules of Go, you need two eyes to actually live. White only has one eye here. And so the end result of this is black ends up capturing the entire group. So, because white forced this fight prematurely, white was initially very jealous and jumped in without a clear plan, black was able to kill this group and keep it from making the two eyes that it needed to actually survive. And because it's not making the two eyes it needed to actually survive, then it's dead. Contrast this to if white played a little bit more patiently. Maybe white took the outside first, right? That's possible. Maybe black played a little bit of a slow move and white took the outside again. Maybe an exchange happened here and black wasted a move on the side. Now we can play here because there are options. There are ways and allies that white has to get itself out of danger because white prepped the field first with side moves and maintained the tension until it was time to actually launch the attack. All right, we have one more demonstration for you all, and this is a very familiar phrase nowadays. It's going to be the Queen's Gambit opening. And this is going to demonstrate one of my favorite similarities between chess and Go, and that is they both value position over pieces. So let me explain what I mean. The Queen's Gambit is an opening where white opens here, black follows, and white offers up a seemingly blatant sacrifice of their pawn. But if black takes, then white gets to play here for a clear positional advantage. As we remember from the first lesson, black moved the same piece twice in a row, which is something we're not generally supposed to do. And white was able to develop the pawns in a dynamic way, controlling the center of the board, while also leaving this pawn with really nowhere to go. This is a complete example of position over pieces. White gained a positional advantage by sacrificing the pawn. Gambits are everywhere in chess openings. And this phenomenon is exactly similar in Go, and let me show you why. So to demonstrate this, we're going to take a common position in the opening where black approaches on this lower left corner. White's going to represent a base. Black is going to cover. White's going to pull back, and then black is going to play somewhere completely different. Anyone who's familiar with Go knows that the standard Joseki requires black to fill and protect this cutting point. White can protect, and black protects the group. Now we see that both stones have a solid level of points. Both shapes are connected, like so, and it's a general even result for everyone. But in advanced play, it's very common to see black just leave this position here. Now what happens if white does cut this right away? Black is going to ignore. Black is going to completely ignore. And now let's say white continues to Atari this stone here. Black is going to continue to ignore. The more stones white invests in this area, the worse white's position becomes, because black now got 1, 2, 3 extra moves on the outside of the board for white's 3 extra moves to capture the 1 black stone. And although you would probably never see this in advanced play, the idea of this sacrifice, the idea of leaving this cutting point here open, is because if white tries to take it too early, they are going to be sacrificing their position at the expense of a piece. And taking 1 stone for a bad position and a slow development is not a good trade in Go. Granted, there are many times when you get a great position by capturing, but there are times when it's not right to try to attack something right away because you're going to get a very bad positional disadvantage. So I hope you all got a lot out of this video. I hope this was informative for people who are just getting their feet wet in Go and trying to figure out how this game is actually played at a strategic level. I would love to hear some feedback on this video in the comments. Please let me know if this makes sense, if you want me to explain more things, if you want me to explain more concepts like this. I think that trying to tackle Go from the footing of other games is one of the greatest ways to very quickly learn and pick up on the essential skills that you need to excel at these games. So again, I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely give this channel a like and a follow if you are interested. If you're interested in learning more games and learning more about Go, explore my other content. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/goincente, or support my work on Patreon if you like it. So thank you all so much, and I hope you have a great week, and hope you have great games. Bye.